everyone, and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how I track my expenses and, more importantly, how this Notion Finance Tracker completely changed the way I manage my money and financial goals. Now, I know it might look a little intimidating at first. Honestly, that's exactly what I thought when I built it. But once it's set up, it's actually incredibly simple to use. All you have to do is add your transactions as they happen, and boom, everything else is calculated automatically. And trust me, that's a game changer. The planner is organized into 4 main pages. First, there's the home page. At the top left, you'll find an overview of all your accounts. Right below that, you have your monthly budgets, showing how much you've spent, your spending limits, and your progress for each month. Further down, you'll find a yearly overview that tracks your income goals and actual earnings based on your transactions. If you're a freelancer like me and your income changes from month to month, this section is honestly super helpful. It gives you a clear picture of your targets and how close you are to reaching them. Next, we have the transactions page, which is probably the most important part of the whole system. This is where you'll manage all of your income and expenses. Then there's the monthly updates page, which gives you a detailed summary of each month, including your net worth calculations and overall financial performance. And finally, the last page is dedicated to bills and recurring payments. We'll also look at a few simple automations that make tracking those expenses almost effortless. To start tracking your finances, the first thing you'll want to do is create a bank account using the automation button. Pretty straightforward so far. This lets you separate transactions across different accounts or cards, which is honestly super useful. For example, I keep my personal and business transactions completely separate, making everything much easier to analyze later. Once your account is created, click on New Transaction. A new transaction will automatically appear with today's date. You can rename it and change the icon if you'd like. It's totally optional, but personally, I like doing it because it makes transactions much easier to spot at a glance. Next, adjust the date if needed. Then, depending on whether it's income or an expense, fill in the corresponding field and simply leave the other one empty. You can also specify whether the transaction is an asset or a liability, and then assign it to one of your existing categories. Finally, select the bank account where you'd like the transaction to be stored. As soon as you do, it'll move from the inbox into the correct account automatically. And that's it. Seriously, adding a transaction is that simple. Once saved, it will also appear in the regular view just below. Now, if we go back to the main dashboard, you'll notice that the transaction automatically updates the budget category associated with it. The total amount spent for the month is recalculated instantly, along with the progress toward the spending limit you've set. You'll see all of that displayed directly on the dashboard. If you want to adjust a budget limit, simply open the corresponding database and update the amount for that specific month. Just make sure you've selected the right month before making changes. The same idea applies to the monthly objectives tracker. From the dashboard, you can set an income goal for each month by entering the target amount you'd like to reach. Then, as you add transactions throughout the month, Notion automatically calculates your progress and shows how close you are to hitting that goal. Honestly, that's one of my favorite parts of this system because it turns your financial goals into something you can track in real time instead of just guessing where you stand. As we saw earlier, whenever you add a transaction, you can classify it as either an asset or a liability. This is what allows Notion to automatically calculate your net worth over time. Here in the monthly updates page, you can track the evolution of your net worth month by month and get a much clearer picture of your overall financial progress. You'll also find a dedicated table for tracking how much money you've set aside each month, whether that's for savings, investments, or any other financial goal. And finally, you'll see a handy summary comparing your current month with the previous one, making it really easy to spot trends, measure your progress, and quickly understand where your finances are heading. Honestly, this page is where all the numbers start to make sense. Instead of looking at individual transactions, you get a complete overview of your financial situation in just a few seconds. This is probably my favorite page in the entire template because it's so useful. Honestly, it's the page that helped me finally get all my bills organized, cut unnecessary expenses, and identify subscriptions I didn't even realize I was still paying for. Mike, as usual, at the top left, you'll find a summary of your bills for the current month. What's really nice is that the total only includes bills marked as paid, so you always know exactly where you stand. Right below that, you'll find a simpler monthly overview for the rest of the year. To add a new bill, simply click the automation button. A new page will appear in the inbox where you can fill in details like the bill name, amount, issue date, and bill type. Once you've added the due date, the bill automatically moves from the inbox to the regular view. From there, you can mark it as paid or canceled, depending on its status. And that's it. Everything else updates automatically. Now, here's a little tip that can save you a ton of time. Most bills repeat every month, right? And let's be honest, nobody wants to manually recreate the same electricity bill, internet subscription, or rent payment over and over again. So instead, open the database menu and duplicate the existing template. We'll use this new template to create a recurring bill, rename it however you'd like. Then, for both the bill date and paid on properties, is select date when duplicated. This ensures those dates are automatically filled in whenever the bill is generated. Next, enter the amount and choose a default status. If you want to manually confirm the payment each month, set the status to draft. If the payment is always automatic, you can set it directly to paid. Once your template is ready, go back to the menu and enable recurrence. In this example, we'll choose a monthly recurrence, but you can select whatever schedule works best for you. Then simply choose the start date and done. From now on, the bill will be created automatically every month. Pretty cool, right? And by the way, you can use the exact same approach for recurring transactions like a fixed salary, subscriptions, memberships, or really anything that repeats on a regular basis. Honestly, my biggest recommendation is to automate as much as possible. The less manual work you have to do, the more likely you are to keep your finances up to date.